Hello, this is the Forest of Oak, Lesson 7, the elements, earth and air, and weather magic. The elements are the original foundation of all corporeal things, of which all other things are made, by unification or transformation. The ancients divided the world into four basic elements, which we know as earth, fire, air, and water. These four elements are vital to our survival, for without any one of them, we could not exist. For this lesson, we will be looking at just two of them, earth and air. Earth. We start with earth, as this is the element that all of us can relate most to. After all, in many myths, the first man was said to be made from earth or clay. Earth is nature. It is our mother, and it is our body. We walk upon it every day, we grow our food within its moist soil, and we bury our dead within its silent embrace. Earth is the element of stability, foundation, strength, growth, and prosperity in all its forms. Earth is the densest of all the elements and is physically manifested in stones, rocks, crystals, and gems. Earth is a heavy and passive element. It has associations with darkness, thickness, and silence. Earth also rules physical things and places such as the body, nature, chasms, caves, groves, fields, rocks, gems, and minerals, standing stones, mountains, and metals. In most traditions of witchcraft, Earth is located at the north of the ritual circle and is associated with midnight, the time of silence. Salt, being a very powerful magical ingredient, is often seen on a witch's altar to represent the element of earth. Salt used to be a very valuable commodity, which was once used as currency. Salt used to be, it was also a vital preserving agent to conserve food and prevent starvation through the winter months. Other symbols of earth, which you may find on an altar, would be stones and crystals. Here are a few earth correspondences. Gender feminine, animals, bear, boar, bull, cattle, earthworm, goat and pigs. Colour, green, brown, black, yellow. Direction is north. Divination, tarot, runes, ogham. Energy receptive, time, night. Magic, burying, planting, magnet, image, stone, tree, knot or cord, binding and garden. Magical tool would be the pentacle. Magical instrument, musical instrument, drums and percussion. Symbols are salt, soil, rocks, stones, leaves, seeds, grasses, twigs, and books. Places, caves, canyons, forests, groves, valleys, fields, farms, gardens, parks, kitchens, mines, holes, libraries, garden centres, farmers' markets, basements or cellars, crossroads. Spellwork, rituals and positive qualities. You would have abundance, prosperity, fertility, grounding, employment, endurance, stability, tolerance, patience, planning, career, selfishness, practicality, responsibility, sensuality, strength, wealth, wisdom, potential, reaping and sowing, humility, tolerance, and practicality. Negatives. You have depression, domineering, greed, attention seeking, laziness, melancholy, and stubbornness. Season, autumn or winter, although beliefs do differ on this. Spirits, gnomes, dwarves, trolls, leprechauns, elves, dryads, and brownies. Zodiac would be Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Tarot would be Pentacles, pentagram position, lower left, Archangel Uriel. Soil and earth. Dirt basically comes in many forms. Some soil is light and sandy, and others, like the stuff in my garden, is thick and clay-like, and any manner of types in between. But essentially, it is full of magic. Soil is obviously aligned with the element of earth, but it holds a definite life force and it is jam-packed full of nutrients to feed the plants. Earth is grounding and solid, bringing stability and strength with it. It doesn't matter if you're standing knee-deep in mud at a festival or on concrete paving in a shopping centre, the earth is there beneath your feet. Soil, earth, dirt, mud, graveyard dirt, and clay are all different forms with the same source. Soil can be used in all sorts of magical workings, and as always, go with your intuition. But I tend to use it for the following: magical properties: fertility, nurturing, stabilizing, grounding or manifestation, prosperity, employment, home, protection, and rebirth. The gender I have is feminine, direction is north, elementals, gnomes, dwarves, and brownies, and uses burying, planting, making mandalas, and sigils. The elemental you. Most of us will find that we are aligned more with one element than another. This may be affected by the zodiac sign we were born under, or it may also be because of the work we do or the life that we lead. Every mundane task carries a correspondence to one of the elements. The challenge is to create balance in ourselves between all four elements. You might like to make a list to see which element you are heavy in and which ones you might need to work a little more with to bring about balance. Let's look at the everyday element of earth-related tasks. Gardening, charity work, working in the greenhouse or visiting a garden centre, cooking with herbs and vegetables, reading, walking the dog, recycling, housework, picking up litter, walking, visiting sacred or ancient sites, going to the library. These should get you started. Earth energy. As we work with the positive and negative, sun and moon, masculine and feminine, energy too has opposites, those of receptive and projective. The flow of energy for the element of earth is receptive. Receptive energy is also described as being feminine, soothing, passive, spiritual, calming, cold, attracting, and magnetic. Receptive energy is good for absorbing negative energy and feelings, but also good for meditation, grounding, and psychic abilities. We can connect with the element of earth in many ways. The obvious ones are practical, by getting our hands dirty in soil, gardening, or standing barefoot on the sand or grass. But there are many magical ways to connect as well. Many are suggested within this lesson, such as working with tree magic or grounding. There are mundane chores that also connect us to the element of earth. I think housework or creating a meal also connects with the element of earth. Just a reminder, when you work with energy, don't draw it from within yourself. That can be extremely draining and cause you to become very tired or even poorly. Use your body as a channel for the energy. Mother Earth is very happy to lend you the energy you need. All you need to do is draw it from her and channel it to where you want it to go. Earth representations. If you want to represent Earth on your altar, in ritual, or for spell work, there are several items you can use. Soil is the obvious one. It is just perfect, but sand can also be used. Salt corresponds with the earth. It doesn't have to be any fancy kind, though you can get all sorts, such as pink and black salt. The black salt is usually sea salt mixed with charcoal. Cheap old table salt is just fine. Rocks and pebbles are totally earthy. Again, it doesn't have to be some exotic pebble from a sacred space. Shingle from your garden works just as well. If you collect a pebble from the beach or river, it also has added water energy. Leaves from any plant or tree that also represents the element of earth. Twigs, again from any tree or plant, but most definitely earth energy. Seeds and nuts. Although each plant will have its own element correspondence, I think seeds and nuts in general represent earth. Roots. Couldn't get any more earthy than that, could you? Books. Perhaps slightly random, but books always seem earthy to me, maybe with added air. And speaking of air, with every breath we take, we draw in a lungful of this wonderful element. Without it, we wouldn't last more than a few minutes. Clean air is vital for our survival. Yet, how many of us sit in our urban homes with all the windows firmly shut? The element of air rules intellect, thought, the first steps towards creation, movement, pure visualization, spells involving travel, instruction, freedom, obtaining knowledge, discovering lost items, and uncovering lies. It is the element of dreams and plans, goals and inventions. Air physically manifests as the sky, wind, and the clouds. In most witchcraft traditions, the element of air is located at the east of the ritual circle and is associated with dawn, the time of new beginnings. Incense is seen on the witch's altar to represent air and has long been used to carry prayers and appeals to the gods by means of burning fragrance in the forms of incense or oils. Other items you might see on an altar would be feathers, a wand, or bells. Here are just a few air correspondences. Gender, masculine. Animals, hawk, eagle, most birds, dragonfly, spider, wolf. Colour, white, yellow, pale blue, and pastels. Direction, east. Divination, augury, reading cloud formations. Energy, projective, time, dawn. Magic, visualization, affirmation, meditation, divination, wind, feather, karma. Magical tool, wand, bell, censer, sword or athame. Musical instrument, flute and wind instruments. Symbols, feathers. Places, mountain tops, windswept plains, hills, libraries, travel agents, airports, sky, and clouds. Spell work, rituals, or positive qualities. travel, instruction, finding lost items, illumination, clarity, communication, sound, language, learning, studying, truth, knowledge, decisions, direction, perspective, memory, imagination, intuition, intent, connection, inspiration, happiness, changes, beginnings, hope, concentration, and justice. Negatives: theft, nerves, indecision, insecurity, anxiety, impulsive, paranoia, prejudice. The season is spring. Spirits are sylphs, zephyrs, fairies, and storm angels. The zodiac is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Tarot is the suit of swords. Pentagram position, top right hand, Archangel Raphael. Wait for a windy day to experience air and find the highest hill or open space near you and stand in the middle with your arms thrown wide and let the wind whip itself around you. Really connect with each element in its raw state, but also take a look at the mundane everyday chores that you do. Which element do you associate each one with? Cooking, reading, cleaning, and laundry. What elements do they correspond with? You could even make a list of all the things you do in a day and work out which elements that they connect with. Are you heavily weighted on working with one element? Do you need to add in some different element activities to bring balance? Air energy. As we work with the positive and negative, sun and moon, masculine and feminine, energy too has opposites, those of receptive and projective. The flow of energy for air is projective. Projective energy is described as being masculine, so it carries energy and power with it, the force to move things forward. We can connect with the element of air in many ways. The obvious one is to stand outside and feel the gentle breeze or a strong wind. But there are also magical ways to connect as well, such as breath work and feather magic. There are mundane chores that also connect us with the element of air, such as dusting or speaking. Another reminder: when you work with energy, don't draw it from within yourself. That can be extremely draining and cause you to become very tired or even poorly. Use your body as a channel for the energy. Mother Nature is very happy to lend you the energy that you need. All you must do is draw it from her and channel it to where you want it to go. The elemental you. Most of us will find that we're aligned more with one element than another. This may be affected by the zodiac sign we were born under. It may also be because of the work we do or the life that we lead. Every mundane task carries a correspondence to one of the elements. The challenge is to create balance in ourselves between all four elements. You might like to make a list to see which element you are heavy in and which ones you might need to work a little more with to bring about balance. Let's look at the everyday element of air-related tasks. Dusting, vacuuming, anything that requires your brain power. Feeding or watching the birds, breath work, listening to the radio, reading, talking, writing, blow drying your hair, using your phone. Air representations. If you want to represent air on your altar, in ritual, or for spell work, there are several items you can use. Feathers. Birds will often gift you with feathers that can be used for all kinds of magic. Incense for the smoke. Musical notes. Images and musical notes represent sound, which is an absolute air quality. Bell, useful in magical workings, but also represents sound, which in turn is an air element. Passport, needed for travel, which is an air activity. Wind chimes, these are so lovely to hang in the garden, but make a good representation for air on your altar. Fan, you can source some beautiful paper or fabric fans. Ribbons, colours can be used to bring in another dimension, but ribbons always signify air for me. Seeds, the wind is often instrumental in distributing seeds in nature. Clouds or sky images. Wind and air. The power of the wind is mighty and can be used for all sorts of spell work because not only is the wind refreshing, cleansing, purifying, and full of the energy to aid with clearing out all kinds of unwanted baggage, it can also be used differently depending on which direction the wind is coming from. Invoking the winds for magical purpose is an ancient art, and there are plenty of deities associated with the winds. One of the main uses of wind in magic is to bring about change, especially when utilizing the energy from an east wind if your purpose is for new beginnings. The east wind brings renewal and can be used for all kind of spell work that involves the intellect, such as intuition and psychic abilities, but also for beginnings, improvements, or transformation. A wind from the south is hot and fiery, bringing with it the power to work curses, hexes, or any negative magic, but also purification, love, lust, vitality, and passion. South winds are also good for working banishing magic, whether it is for toxic people, jealousy, or selfish actions. West winds swing in with fertility and love, and to help with healing, cleansing, strength, emotions, happiness, sleep, and dream work. The power of the north wind is one of sudden and unexpected changes that may require a bit of attention and work to deal with. However, the north wind also helps dispel bad habits, material gain, money, prosperity, and organizational skills. Air in general is a courier of messages, and our breath itself can be used as magic to breathe energy and intent into items, to whisper petitions to the wind, and to cleanse and purify objects. And to turn things on their head, the wind can also be used very successfully for curses. Stab a knife into the wind and wrap it carefully into a piece of fabric. The knife can then be used to send a hex into whatever spell you stab into it. Pop it, for instance, with the full power of the wind behind it. Wind or air magical properties. Movement, intelligence, divination, concentration, visualization, travel, study, freedom, knowledge, lost items, thought, teaching, happiness, beginnings, and communication. Working with the weather. One of the useful aspects of working with the energy of any particular day or week is that you can figure the weather into your magical workings. If it is a beautiful, warm, sunny day, you can work with the male energy of the sun, or if there is a raging storm outside, you can harness the powerful energy that it creates. As for controlling the weather, that is a tricky subject. What gives you, me, or anyone else the right to interfere with Mother Nature and the weather that she brings? I might want a sunny day for my garden party, but the local farmer may be desperate for rain to grow his crops. Who takes precedence? Only you can make that decision for yourself and whether your needs outweigh others. Brooms make excellent wands for working weather magic, as do umbrellas, open to bring rain, closed to keep it away. Throw a broom up into the air to summon the winds, burn the broom to stop the winds, and bury the ashes. Tie a holy stone to a cord and whip it around in the air to calm storms and settle strong winds. Tie knots into a cord with the intent of working weather magic. When the weather is needed, untie the knots. So you might untie one knot for a breeze or light rain, untie 2 knots for a strong wind or steady rain, and 3 knots for gale force wind or torrential rain. Sometimes the land is in desperate need of rain, and you can work some magic to help it arrive. You can just literally stand outside and chant to the sky, asking it to rain, or do a rain dance if you feel inspired to as well. Or you can get a paper map and lay it out in front of you. Sprinkle uncooked rice onto the areas that you would like it to rain upon. Ask the gods, deity, the divine, or whoever you work with to bring rain to the identified areas. Be careful to request just enough rain and not too much. You don't want floods, unless that is what you're aiming for, of course. The weather also has a whole library full of folklore attached to it, and your local area probably has its fair share of weather lore too. The wise women and men of our past would often tell the future, depending on what the weather was doing at any particular time. Here are some of my favourites. Fog in January brings a wet spring. If the sun shines on the 22nd of January, St. Vincent's Day, there will be much wind. If bees get out in February, the next day will be wet and windy. Fog in February means frosts in May. When March has April weather, April will have March weather. Thunder in March betokens a fruitful year. Thunder on April's Fool's Day will bring good crops of corn and hay. A moist April means a clear June. A cloudy April will bring a dewy May. Hoarfrost on 1st of May means there will be a good harvest. If it rains on the 24th of June, there will be a wet harvest. If the 1st of July is wet, there will be more rain for a further 3 weeks. An unusually warm first week of August means the winter will be long and white. A fair day on the 1st of September means the rest of the month will be too. If there is a south storm on the 19th of September, there will be a mild winter to follow. If the 29th of September, St. Michael's Day, brings acorns, then there will be snow at Christmas. Heavy rain in October means a very windy December. Fog in October means snow in the winter. If the October full moon is frost-free, then there will be no frost until the full moon in November. Heavy snow in November will last until April. That doesn't sound very pleasant. If November has thunder, then there will be a fertile year to come. If Christmas is green, then Easter will be white. Heavy rain during the 12 days of Christmas heralds a wet year ahead. Weather predicting. If you want to have a go at predicting the weather yourself, then it is mostly just a case of being observant and watching and seeing what happens. If the sky is filled with thin, wispy clouds very high up, then you can expect good weather ahead. Smaller puffy clouds, which are called cumulus, seen in the morning or early afternoon with rounded tops and flat bases, that means there is a chance of thunder. Big white clouds shaped like castles in the sky can indicate a lot of drastic weather happening inside. If the clouds start to swell and become a greyish colour, there will probably be thunderstorms about to happen. And a red sky at sunset means that the air is dry and dusty, so the weather will be good. A red sky at sunrise means the air is clearing for a storm to move in. A clear night sky with no cloud cover and a drop in temperature means that frost will form and the morning will be a bit nippy. A ring around the moon is a bit of a warning, indicating a warm front is coming, which means precipitation. The ring is caused by high, thin clouds getting thicker as they pass over the moon. Ice crystals are reflected by the moonlight, causing the halo. Animals and the weather. Animals predicting the weather feature in a lot of folklore, such as when dogs eat grass, cats purr and wash, sheep turn into the wind, cows sniff the air, or pigs are restless, then rain is on the way. Presumably, you don't need to see all of these animals to confirm it. If a bull leads the cows to pasture, expect rain, but if the cows head on first, then the weather will be uncertain, or he is just a very gentlemanly bull. A cat sneezing is said to forecast rain. If the pigs start gathering leaves and straw, then you can expect a cold winter. If sheep head up to the top of the hills and separate, then you can expect the weather to be good. Wolves apparently howl more before a storm. When cows lie down, indicates rain. Horses and cows stretching their necks out and sniffing the air are said to foretell rain. Bats flying round late in the evening indicate that good weather will follow. Birds and the weather. The flight and behaviour of our feathered friends can not only be used for telling the future, but also to predict the weather. Generally, if the birds are flying high up in the sky, then the weather is fair, but if they detect a storm coming, they would take refuge on land. They also fly much lower if the air pressure is falling. Birds will also tend to become silent before a storm. Hawks flying high means a clear sky. When they fly low, prepare for a blow. When fowls roost in daytime, expect rain. Birds singing in the rain indicate good weather is on the way. A single crow flying alone is a sign of bad weather. Two flying together signal fine weather. A rooster that crows before bed indicates he will rise to wet weather. When a swallow builds the nest high, the summer will be dry. When the swallow builds low, you can safely reap and sow. There follows on the lesson PDF an earth elemental shape-shifting meditation, and there is a guided meditation recording. There is also an air elemental shape-shifting meditation. Again, there is a recording on the lesson PDF. There is also on the lesson PDF a weather meditation. Again, there is a guided meditation. A link to that is in the lesson PDF. Homework. Practice the earth elemental shape-shifting and report your experiences. 2. Spend a day immersed in the element of earth and report your experiences. And we mean a whole day with this element. Immerse yourself in it, rediscover it, live with it. Report what activities you did, your thoughts and feelings about this element, and whether you connected with it. Why or why not? 3. What 4 crystals would you choose to represent the element of earth and why? 4. Practice the air elemental shapeshifting and report your experiences. 5. Spend a day immersed in the element of air and report your experiences. And we mean a whole day with this element. Immerse yourself in it, rediscover it, live with it. Report what activities you did, your thoughts and feelings about this element, and whether you connected with it. Why and why not? What 4 crystals would you choose to represent the element of air and why? 7. Practice the weather meditation and report your experience. 8. Do you remember any sayings and rhymes involving the weather, and do you use them now? 9. Without looking at the forecast, see if you can predict the weather by feeling the energy and looking for signs in nature. Homework for each lesson should be emailed to your mentor, Ness or Heather, support@kitchenwitchhearth.net. And for further study, there are some YouTube videos and also some blog links on the lesson PDF.